Hey adventurers! Wow, look at this! Blue sky! The sun is warm. I'm wearing a leather jacket, my Ixon riding gear. Oh, it's magnificent. This is the days that remind you, oh yes, that's why I own a bike. Because it has been bloody miserable. This is complete contrast to my camping trip on the weekend, last weekend, which was a bit like this. When the sun comes out, it's like being reborn. Yeah, I've got my new microphone, I've got Alice in Chains playing in my headset. Yeah, so for today I just thought I'd mash together all these bits and pieces of did little spiels here, there and everywhere, and you know, nothing was overly exciting, nothing I felt worthy of making a video. Of course, you know, when I make videos I'm thinking about what do I want to remember in the future. I want to be able to look back at my videos and go, oh yeah, I remember that. And so when there's nothing much to talk about, then you know, there's no point in doing that for me. But anyway, it's been wintry and miserable and the weather's crap and the riding has been crappy and I've just been commuting and I've been busy with work and oh my god. So anyway, today let's put up a mash. G'day, well, time's ready for a ride already. Only been here 10 seconds. Okay, this shit is wet and slippery. And I'm on a big bike. If you're wondering why we're going around all of these, it's because of what happened, I think, last weekend.
Go, go, go. Okay, go.
Oh, fuck ya. Oh, that hurt. Oi! What?
Just got in the air.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll do it again if you want.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah. Oh, I can turn around here. Oh, here comes the hail. Look at the hail. Look. You alright? Yeah, just got Tom out of the vertical drop off, which I knew was coming. I think all the guys knew it was coming. Took some rope pulling. Hey adventurers, I've got another new microphone after watching a Jake the Garden Snake video. Wow, there's quite a few people out here. Jake pointed out, you know, the right microphone to use. I went, I've got one of those sitting in the cupboard. Why don't I use it? So now I am. We'll see how it goes. I was going to talk a little bit about big adventure bikes, and you know, there's the new release soon of the T7 and the 800 KTM 800 Adventure, 790 Adventure. I don't know if it's got an official designation yet, has it? And you know, would I change? Would I swap bikes? Would I upgrade / downgrade, depending which which way you want to look at it? And I don't know. I think the new smaller CC bikes will have to be pretty impressive for me to change. You see, when I think of an adventure bike, which is what I've got, which is what I bought for the purpose of adventure riding, I decided, well, I came to the realization, my thought process was that I need a bike that I can ride from my place in the south of Australia, in Victoria, Melbourne, to the northern tip of Australia, which, as you may know, we've already done. And to do that, you know, we've got thousands of kilometers of highway, and you know, we've got a few little dirt adventures off to the side, and then we've got some gnarly tracks to get to the very top. Ooh. And you need a bike that can do that. So this bike does that. It does it so well. It's so comfortable on the highways, and it's awesome on fire trails. You know, there's not going to be much to beat it on the fire trails. And then it's pretty good in the single track. Like, yes, it's a heavy bike, it's not a dirt bike, but it's pretty capable. So the T7 / 800 ADV, they're going to be more capable on off-road, I'm sure of it. But how much do they lose? How much do they lose from their on-road ability? Ooh, the potholes. Now, if they lose too much of that on-road ability, they detract from the advantage of an adventure bike. And if you say, well, you know, that's a good thing, more capable off-road, but well, you know, then you go, well, why don't I just get a dirt bike? You know, you look at Riemann, you know, did a 7,000 and a 9,000 kilometer trip on his 500 EXE. You can do it. It's not comfortable on the freeways, so you know, but it's awesome off-road. So where do you draw that line? So for me, I think the 800 ADV or the T7 will still have to have heaps of horsepower, over 100 horsepower, so that I can cruise up and down the freeways and I can overtake and I can carry a load. It's all good. And then they have to be significantly lighter. Well, Jesus, chainsaws and everything going. Ah, the racetrack. Testing. This is the microphone side. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Need to stick my head in front of a fan, don't I? Okay, so now we're travelling down the road at, I don't know, about say 60 kilometres per hour. Hey adventurers, well today it's raining. I thought I'd go for a ride, and I thought I'd just see how my bike goes in rain mode. I don't think I've ever ridden around in rain mode before. I've certainly turned it on and then just sort of turned it off again. Maybe I opened the throttle to see what would happen on the dirt. I can't actually even remember, but anyway, today I've turned it on and I'm going to see how the ABS and the traction control works on the asphalt in the rain. Oh, there's some lights. Oh, that's kicking in. Oop. It's quite interesting, isn't it? You probably couldn't tell. So the ABS kicked in pretty early, and then on acceleration that actually felt like a wheel spin quite a bit. I'll test out the wheel spin again. Oh my god. Which lane? Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you could tell there, but that did certainly step out sideways. I was trying to make it. Maybe I wasn't heavy-handed enough on the throttle. Let's see. I really want to know that this thing is like... I mean, I'm sure I haven't seen anyone just go out and test it in real-world conditions. So, yeah, I think people will find that interesting. How effective is it really? Can I drop the bike in traffic? I hope not. Okay, ABS. Tick, 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 tick. Yep. Kicks in easy. You can feel the lever pulsing just that fraction, but the front doesn't get squirmy at all in rain mode. I think I'll take it back about rain mode. So this is rain mode. I just twist the throttle and it just sort of feeds on. And then if I put it back to street mode, oh no, there's definitely more grunty right off the bottom. ABS test in the wet in a street mode. I don't know, felt pretty good. Actually, even in sport mode felt pretty straight. I think it's just on gravel it feels a bit squirmy. So ABS in the different modes makes practically zero difference. It's all just ABS. I guess knobby tyres and asphalt, the ABS kicks in at a reasonably early stage, whether you like it or not. I think the ABS is pretty much the same. So I'm back in rain mode, so felt pretty much the same. I don't think there's much difference. So in essence, if you've got a bike with ABS and traction control, either or both, you should often test them both out. Experiment, put them in different modes, make sure there's no one behind you obviously, and then progressively pull on the brake harder and harder and harder. It doesn't take too much. Just use the front brake only, don't worry about the back. And same in corners. That's a bit more scary, I feel. Actually, in corner, open the throttle and let it kick out sideways with the traction control and see how far it'll go. If you crash, of course, don't blame me, but I think definitely you should be practicing these things, even though the police will probably say, oh, that's illegal, it's hooning or whatever. But knowing when your ABS and traction control is kicking in or not kicking in, and how it will feel when it kicks in, is a pretty important part of riding. And I was just doing it today. I haven't ridden in the rain for a while. It hasn't rained for a while. And now that it's raining, I'm playing with my modes and testing my ABS. And I'm making sure there's no one behind me at the time. I'm trying to ride safely, usually. Promise. Anyway, my tip for the day. God, it's scary. I back off the throttle. It does its job. It won't let it slide. I'm going to do it while there's cars there. Have fun. Hey, adventurers. And in particular, the young adventurers. Today, I would like to talk a bit about, just navigate around these people, about what we're really looking at with when you're riding a motorcycle. Lots of concentration is involved, and I've done this once before, but it was dark and the footage was crap and I never published anything. But yeah, so in particular for the younger riders, and riders thinking about, or people thinking about taking up riding, what really is involved, because you'll see a lot of YouTube videos where a car hits a bike and the bike rider is injured or killed or whatever, and it's the car's fault. But in so many cases the motorcyclist could have avoided that, and that's really quite depressing to look at, to think about, that that it could have been avoided by the motorcyclist, even though it was the car's fault. So what I plan to do is basically describe what I'm looking at, and it won't be everything, but it'll be as much as I can talk about, and hopefully gives younger riders or people thinking about riding a bit more of an idea about what's involved in riding a motorcycle and not being killed in those first few years. Actually, let's take the suburban streets. I won't take the freeway, and there might be a little bit more to think about. So I'm watching that guy behind me because I want to make sure that he's looking at me and he's not going to run into the back of me. What if I did look in the back and I thought, shit, he's not going to stop? Well, I'd be preparing. I don't know, there's no one on the left. I could shoot off to the left there and get out of his way. I'm not relying on him to be watching where he's going. In traffic, in heavy traffic, I mean, cars are pretty close behind you often, so it is important to watch them. I won't go left because there's a van. Oh man, he's shooting off to the left now, that white car. So now there's a silver taxi behind me. In fact, I didn't even see that Mercedes. There you go. That's a shocker. Shocker! That's not what I'm trying to demonstrate. So it's not really about seeing where the cars are. I mean, it is, but you need to know what you need to know before they do. What are they going to do? Hopefully I've got some good examples on the way home. So the light's still green, no cars close behind me. I'm going to cross that blue car on the right. Didn't look like he was going to run the red or anything. Oh, this is a right-hand turn lane only. Here's a gap. I'm going to accelerate, get in there, just double head check, and this guy's changing lanes as well. Okay. Now I don't like seeing people blind spots, so I will happily just jump in front of him. This guy's going to turn left. That guy behind me is still on the right hand side. And that's the same white van. Okay, I'm going to jump across there. And there's a dead end blocked road ahead. So everyone's is on the right hand side. There's no one on my left there to come across to my lane. There's a slow bat. It is on slow. These pedestrians, no pedestrians on either side of that crossing. Even though I had a green light, it doesn't mean jack shit. big cage there, someone could easily step out of that, so we just keep an eye on that. That white car still sitting back a little bit, we're safe. The light is green, that red car is not moving. The blue car is too far back to be a concern. There's an indicator that is probably hazards. No, it's not, it is an indicator, so make sure that they don't just pull out, because they do. And I'm on the right hand lane, so we're pretty safe. Don't know what that lady is doing. I'm going around to the right. That white car is still behind me, but he's keeping a good gap. It is all good. They're all going to have to merge here, because I can see down there that they're merging. No cars are coming through the intersection. Maintain a bit of a gap. Make sure that car also didn't roll too far forwards. Does that make sense? Now I want to make sure that people don't run into the back of me. That's actually really common on bikes. People get run into, and you really should be watching for them all the time. Now, one thing you may or may not notice, that is a self-closing boot. Don't get too distracted by it. That guy's indicating, is making sure he's not going to indicate into me, and there's a silver car on the left. He's wanting to pull out, but I think there's, and he's moving. Don't move, please. And same with that silver car, but they can all see me, so we should be pretty good. And they were looking in the correct direction. Not much you can do. I probably could filter down the left, but I won't at the moment because I'm talking. Yeah, so one thing you won't notice me doing is going, what speed am I doing? And I'm doing 36, but and that speedo is 10% out, so whenever you see it a little bit over the speed limit, well, I'm probably not doing over the speed limit. But basically, I certainly have the attitude, I don't give a shit about the speed. I don't care what the police, it's too dangerous on a motorcycle to be concentrating on your speed. In fact, speeding, just make sure that guy's not going to roll out. Speeding, check the guy behind me again. Speeding is probably one of your least concerns on a motorcycle, unless you're going ridiculously fast. You should not have to worry, I'm going to get in the left, make sure the guy behind me is not in the left, make sure none of those cars on the side are moving. I finish indicating, that guy's going right. It's a green intersection, pretty clear. All clear. Always checking for cars that just shouldn't be where they are. So that car's going to pull out. That's okay. Car behind me is still a fair way back. Guy checking his keys back there. Interesting. This guy's going to want to jump into the traffic. I am going to stay right on the left and keep out of his way. A little bit more pace to see if he wants to jump in that gap behind me, and he didn't. There's a guy in front of me is turning left. So single lane of traffic here, which actually makes things a little easier. When you've got two lanes of traffic, I'm going to make that light, and now there's no one behind me. I feel much better. There's a guy. I'm not out here to be cruel to anyone. Motorbike on the other side, don't get too distracted. That is some white wall tires. Okay, let's go down, let's filter. Oh, cars are still moving, so just be careful. Is this guy indicating? Yes, he is. Make sure those wheels don't move. Watch that taxi on the right, watch that lady, and watch this car. That is a lot of people. I'm going to jump into that gap right there. I can merge right if I need to. The taxi is still a few meters back. And no one is wanting to change lanes. Think about pedestrians, but I'm stopping anyway, so who gives a shit? So at this point, my footage just goes on and on and on. So I'm not going to continue with this, but I thought that stuff is interesting, and it was actually done a little bit in the movie A Twist of the Wrist, and I think it's really good for young riders especially to see all the things that they should be looking at. And of course, the way I'm talking there, I'm only picking up a quarter of the things that I'm actually looking at. I have practiced saying everything that I've looked at a few times, and I think I'm getting a little bit better at it. If people are interested, I mean, I'm happy to record like an hour of city commuting, just continuously rattling off everything that I'm looking at. I'm not going to put that in this video, but if anyone's interested in that, let me know. I might not even publish a video, but I'll make a private one that someone could look at out of interest. And if no one's interested, well, you know, I'm not going to spend an hour rattling off a description. But yeah, I thought that might be handy. So if it is something you're interested in, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to end my video here. There's been enough different topics, and it's getting too long already. So yeah, catch you later.